morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Soap Chef here on this channel where we make all things with a rather good lather. I've been gone for a little bit, just taking my time with everything, and I'm posting as I feel like it because I am creating with intention this year. And I don't really feel the need to upload every week or even every other week. I have no time schedule at all, and my life has been way more peaceful since making that decision. All that aside, what we're going to be doing today is a hair conditioner bar. It has been highly requested, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that today. Apologies if I sound weird. I've been sick for the past 2 weeks. I am still sick, but I think I'm on the uphill slide of things. So, 2 negative COVID tests later, and this is just a sinus infection, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. We're moving on with life. Let's talk about some of the ingredients we're going to be using today. You guys know I like to give you a little bit of an educational portion of the video rather than just jumping right into, here's the ingredients, here's the recipe, make it, have fun. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm about. But let's talk about it. So we're going to be adding, I've got all my ingredients already lined up right here. They're already measured out. We're going to talk about a couple of these ingredients that we're going to be using today. The first thing on our list is going to be INCURRED CR. That is this nice flaky goodness. And we're using this because it has exceptional conditioning, very softening to your hair, very lubricating to your hair. It improves the glide when you're trying to comb your hair. It improves that, trying to get that comb through there, wet and dry, by the way. It also helps with flyaways, okay? And this works really, really well with BTMS 50, which is what we're going to be using today. Speaking of BTMS 50, here it is, and it comes in these little pastels. It does not come in flake form, okay? So the flake form here is the INCURRED CR. All right, that's your conditioning agent. The BTMS 50 comes in these little pastels or little beads. Okay, this has a little bit of an off-putting smell to it. It smells, lots of people say that it smells like fish. I agree with that, it does. But this does not carry over into the finished product. And the reason why we're using this, rather than the BTMS 25, a lot of people have questions between those two ingredients. So if you're gonna be using BTMS 25, it's going to give you a conditioner bar that has more drag because it's got 25% less conditioning agent than the BTMS 50. That's why we're using the 50. I have always used the 50, and I've been making this hair conditioner for 21 years now. A couple little tweaks throughout the years, but for the most part, this is my original formula back in what, 2002 or 2004, one or the other. Long time, let's just put it that way. All right, so we've talked about INCURRED. We've talked about the BTMS 50. Let's talk about cetyl alcohol. We're using cetyl, not cetyl. And the reason why, both of them, cetyl alcohol as well as cetyl alcohol, they're both going to provide you with the slip and the glide that you're going to need in a hair conditioning product, and neither one of them are very greasy. However, cetyl alcohol is more silky than cetyl alcohol, and that's why we're using that today. Also, cetyl alcohol has like some waxiness to it. It's got like a little bit of a waxy feeling to it. And so if you have really thin and fine hair, that's gonna weigh your hair down, and that's not gonna be a comfortable feeling. So that is why we are adding the cetyl alcohol. Very, very silky. This is great also in lotions, but that's a whole nother story. Sometimes I prefer cetyl in a lotion. Whole nother story though. All right, so there's our cetyl alcohol. Next on the list, we're going to be looking at lecithin. Okay, so why are we using this? Because it promotes shiny and supple hair, first of all, especially if your hair is really overly dry, because it's an excellent moisturizer and it helps to restore the hair's natural protective coating that it has. It's a really thick, viscous solution. But I've used that, you know, in my hair conditioner bars for over 20 years now. All right, what's next? Next, we've got our butters. So I use a combination of 2 different butters. I use kokum and I use mango. The mango is on the top here. The kokum is on the bottom. Why are we using either one of those? So the kokum butter promotes elasticity and prevents dryness and restores damaged follicles. The mango butter It can boost your natural shine and reduces the dryness to your scalp and flakiness that you might have happening there. It's highly emollient and it provides a lot of softening properties. So that is why we're using those two butters. I have a whole another series coming out on different butters and why we would use them in what different proportions for all different types of hair care and skincare formulations, but we're not going to get into any of that kind of stuff today. So that's it as far as those ingredients are concerned. We're just going to go ahead and add them all right into here. We're going to put this on a double boiler and melt this all down. I'm sorry if I keep sniffing, you guys. I really have been very, very sick, and I'm still sick. I'm not out of the woods yet, but it's nothing serious, thankfully. You know what I mean? It really is just a sinus infection. I used to get them all the time, and I haven't had one in years and years and years. It's been a really long time since I've had them. All right, let's get our butters into the pool here, okay? All right, so we've got all of our hard oils and butters and emulsifiers and conditioners and all that kind of stuff is here. We're going to put that on a double boiler in a moment. Let's continue talking about some of the other things, and then I'm going to give you guys the recipe. Okay, so in this container here, I've got a mixture of cetrimonium chloride, and we use that because it is a conditioning agent that improves, wet or dry combing. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm hiccuping now. Wet and dry combing, so it helps to get your comb through wet or dry hair, and it reduces your static electricity. So that's why we use cetrimonium chloride. We also have in here sodium PCA, which is naturally occurring in your human skin, and it helps to maintain a healthy epidermis. It's really great humectant. So we all know what a humectant is. A lot of humectants attract moisture from the air, bringing it down into your hair and or skin. Olive oil PEG7, which is your humectant and an emulsifier. It's an outstanding conditioner. That's why we use that in here. Also, we've got panthenol, liquid silk, rice protein, vitamin E. We went over the sodium PCA, olive oil PEG, and then we have our scent and our preservative here. I am using Optifen Plus because this is a water in oil formulation. If it was the other way around and there was way more water in this formulation, I would choose to use Germal Plus, but since this is mostly butters and emulsifiers and conditioning agents, I'm going to choose to use the Optifen Plus. All right, give me a moment. I'm going to go over there and get everything rolling on the stove here, put this in a double boiler, and I'll be back. Okay, I am back. I've gone ahead and put this on the double boiler on the stove. I've since transferred it into this so I could have more working room in case there's any splashes or anything. So all of our butters and emulsifiers and conditioning agents and all of that kind of jazz is all melted down. We're ready to add our water phase now, which consists of aloe juice, vegetable glycerin. I have aloe extract in here and some honey powder, and I've gone ahead and dissolved that honey powder in the water. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and add that to the mix, and don't worry, I'm going to give you guys the recipe. As soon as we're done with everything, I'll go ahead and give you guys that recipe. Now, you can either choose to use a whisk to go ahead and mix this all up. That's perfectly fine. Or you can use an immersion blender, which is what I'm going to do. So let's just give this a mix. I find that using my immersion blender helps to cool this down enough so that we can add all of our extracts and proteins and preservatives and scent and all the yummy good things. By the way, I do not color my hair conditioner bars. I also do not color my shampoo bars any longer. I used to for years and years and years and years and years, and I stopped doing that roughly about 2 years ago. I don't find it necessary really to add an extra ingredient, B, a colorant, which is really expensive when it's not necessary, and C, depending on what colorants you are using, that could turn somebody's hair a different color, and I'm not about that. So I stopped putting colorant in my hair care products a couple of years ago. You can do that if you'd like. You know, I would maybe put some mica in here because mica loves oil, and this is an oil-based formulation. By the way, just as a little side note, you guys will see me using a variety of different stick blenders when I am formulating. I have a green one over here that I use primarily for my soap making. Here we go, you guys can see that. I keep everything wrapped in plastic. So that one I use primarily for making soap. I have a red one that I use primarily for making my wax whip for the top of my wax melts. And then this white one, I primarily use this to make my lotions, creams, butters, those type of things. So I kind of have separate stick blenders for each type of product that I'm going to be using. You know what I'm going to do, you guys? I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'm going to come back when this is at a good temperature for us to add all of our additives. Be right back. Okay guys, we are back, and this has reached a temperature that I feel confident now that I can go ahead and add all of the rest of the goodies that we're going to put in here. And so again, in this cup, we've got our cetrimonium chloride, panthenol, our liquid silk and rice proteins, vitamin E, sodium PCA, olive oil PEG7, our scent, which is lemon curd, and our preservative, which is Optifen Plus. So let's go ahead and get this all into the pool. And we'll mix this up, pour this into the mold. All right, at this point, we are ready to start pouring this into the mold. Let's get that over here. And we'll just start pouring. Trying to get this in here quick before it starts solidifying in the bowl. So there's a little bit of over pour going on here. Actually, a lot of bit on that one. All right, now we're gonna have to do a little bit of scraping. Try to get the rest of this out. So once it gets to this point where the temperature has come down enough for you to add all of your other really good additives, it does get solid relatively quickly, as you can see. But it's still not unmanageable. You are still able to work with this and get this in the mold in plenty enough time. This one is going to be a little bit looking wonky, but that's quite all right, because then I get to use that for myself. Ha ha. Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit on the messy side. That's okay. That's part of being a creator, being messy and having fun doing it. All right, we're just gonna leave that one alone. Let me take these gloves off. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and put that over there so you guys can see. Obviously, you can see there's quite a bit of overpour, and I'll scrape the top off of this, and then we'll go ahead and use those extra things as little pieces for myself or to give away to family, friends, whatever. So give me roughly, this is gonna take about usually about 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to completely solidify so that I can pop it out of the mold. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to do that. Okay guys, it's been roughly about 45 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and unmold these now. Pop right out. They could have probably set up a little bit more, a little bit of tackiness. Maybe I'll go ahead and leave those sitting in there for just a little bit more, but this is good enough. So here you go. Here is our solid conditioner bar. I can't really smell anything, honestly, because I'm still sick, but I'm sure it smells wonderful with the lemon curd. I will go ahead and leave that down below, as well as links where you can find some of those ingredients that maybe some of you have never heard of before, but we use them in our products because of the anti-frizz, the anti-static, the combability, the solubility, the emolliency, the conditioning agents, all of the things that I discussed earlier. That's why I formulated this the way that I did. A lot of other people will just throw in, you know, your conditioning agents and your butters and your water and a couple little proteins here or there, but I specifically use like the sodium PCA, the olive oil PEG7, the cetrimonium chloride, the lecithin. Those type of things are in here for specific reasons because that's what I need out of a hair conditioner. Okay. I do believe that's going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and let those sit. Like I said, they're not, it's still just a little bit tacky. So I was premature in the unmolding, but that's okay. And as you can see, they're not colored. I don't color them. I'm not going to. My customers don't care. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for today. It's been roughly about a month since my last full video. I've put a couple shorts up on the channel, you know, just to kind of keep things going, let you guys know I am still around. I didn't disappear completely. I'm just doing things differently than what I have in the past. And I've removed myself from a lot, a lot of social media because it's stressful. That's the bottom line, and there's no other explanation that I need to give. Social media stresses me out, and that's no bueno. Okay, on that happy note though, y'all, I will be around. I've got, you know, you guys hit me up a lot. You know, you guys that I've come to know and come to have relationships with and have become friends with. I have a lot of you on my personal Facebook. So that's cool. And you guys check in on me and make sure that I'm still doing okay. I'm still got my head above water and so forth. Appreciate all of you so very much who have done that. And for the rest of you that are new here, welcome. And I look forward to getting to know each one of you a little bit more through commentary and sharing and being a part of the community. You know, it's all about collaborating and communicating as far as I'm concerned. But till we meet again, y'all.